In Mexico, a silent war rages, not on battlefields, but in streets, homes, and hearts. 130,000 people vanished, swallowed by cartels, and, families say, by a state that looks away. Now, the anger has erupted. From Mexico City to Guadalajara, tens of thousands march, holding up faces of the disappeared, demanding justice in a nation where graves keep opening and answers never come. Thousands of Mexicans took to the streets, marching in Mexico City, Guadalajara, Cordoba, and dozens of other cities to demand justice for the countries disappeared on August 30th. According to a report by BBC, relatives, friends, and human rights activists carried placards with the faces of missing loved ones, urging President Claudia Sheinbaum's government to do more to confront what the United Nations has described as a human tragedy of enormous proportions. Mexico has more than 130,000 officially registered disappeared people, almost all since 2007, when then President Felipe Calderón launched his so-called war on drugs. Families say cartels are the main perpetrators, recruiting young men under threat or killing those who resist. But human rights organizations also accuse police and security forces of being complicit in the violence. In the capital, the march brought traffic to a standstill as demonstrators surged down Paseo de la Reforma. From Oaxaca in the south to Durango and Sonora in the north, the breadth of the protests underscored how deeply disappearances scar communities across Mexico. Amid the banners and chants, some carried spades, a reminder of the grim reality faced by the buscadores or searchers. These volunteer groups, often made up of mothers of the missing, scour deserts and farmland for clandestine graves, sometimes tipped off by the same cartels that abduct their relatives. The risks are immense. Earlier this year, several searchers who uncovered what appeared to be a narco ranch in Jalisco state were themselves disappeared. Prosecutors later said there was no evidence of a crematorium at the site, a conclusion that families dismissed as another cover-up. The UN Committee on Enforced Disappearances is now examining whether Mexicans are being vanished in a widespread or systematic way, with the acquiescence or involvement of the state itself. In Guadalajara, Jalisco State, Mexico's tech hub and a host city for next year's World Cup, the contrast between modern prosperity and endemic violence is stark. More than 15,700 people have disappeared here, the highest toll of any state. Analysts say it reflects the growing grip of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, one of the most powerful criminal syndicates in the world. One case illustrates the devastating pattern. In November 2022, 27-year-old Daniel Velasco Carrillo was washing car windscreens at an intersection in Guadalajara when two armed men shoved him into a blue SUV. A half hour earlier, his mother Carmen Lucia had seen him on the roadside, smiling and full of energy. She never saw him again.
They don't know the pain, the frustration, the hole it leaves inside you.
For months, Carmen chased leads. Friends told her Daniel had been taken to La Escuelita, the little school, a cartel training camp hidden on a ranch west of the city. In March this year, a search collective known as Guerreros Buscadores, or the Searching Warriors, stormed the Izaguirre Ranch near Teuchitlan. Inside, they found obstacle courses, bullet casings, and piles of clothing and shoes. Videos of the site went viral. The group's leader, activist Indira Navarro, declared it an extermination camp. Authorities later confirmed it was a cartel training facility but denied evidence of mass killings. Even so, survivors began contacting journalists, claiming they were tricked by fake job adverts into becoming recruits. Some, they said, died in training or were killed when they failed. For Carmen, the discovery was unbearable. On social media, she spotted a pair of jeans her son had worn, bought from a Mexican discount store called Beware of the Dog. The Izaguirre Ranch also revealed the depth of cartel infiltration into local politics. In May, Teuchitlan's mayor, José Ascensión Murguía Santiago was arrested on allegations of providing police support and weapons to the cartel camp in exchange for $3,500 a month. 3 former police officers were also charged. According to Jalisco's Justice Department, more than 300 government employees have been investigated for links to disappearances over the past 7 years. But activists say the bigger problem is omission, the authorities' failure to act. When the National Guard raided the ranch last year, they freed 2 kidnapped victims and found a body wrapped in plastic. But they never searched the wider property.
The government is worried about the aesthetic, the public appearance. The World Cup is coming.
The UN investigation has raised an even more damning question: whether disappearances in Mexico constitute state crimes. Under international law, enforced disappearance involves government actors, either directly or through criminal groups operating with state support. President Claudia Sheinbaum has rejected that suggestion.
In Mexico, the government doesn't carry out forced disappearances. There's a phenomenon of disappearance linked to organized crime, and we're doing everything in our hands to fight it. We're developing it, and obviously the Ministry of the Interior is working with the groups of missing women. No, we'll never confront a mother whose son, daughter, brother, or relative has disappeared. We may have different points of view, but we're not going to confront them.
State officials in Jalisco insist they are making progress, pointing to the creation of a new ministry to coordinate searches and the use of drones to locate graves. But experts remain skeptical. Only about 1% of crimes in Jalisco last year resulted in convictions. Disappearances in Mexico now surpass the worst atrocities of Latin America's past. Guatemala's 36-year civil war left 40,000 missing. Argentina's military dictatorship disappeared 30,000. Mexico's total has already eclipsed both. The unresolved disappearance of 43 students from Ayotzinapa in 2014 remains the country's most emblematic case. Despite years of investigations, families accuse the military of withholding information and officials of orchestrating a cover-up. A United Nations panel has documented torture, manipulated evidence, and destroyed files.